When the monkeys saw Sejun standing in the rain, they angrily raised their sticks and demanded to know who he was. Sejun stood there confused, unsure of what was happening, but Theo quickly stepped between them, raising his hands in an attempt to calm everyone down. Theo confidently introduced himself as a wandering tower merchant, but the monkeys remained suspicious. They continued slamming their sticks against the ground and shouting. Sejun immediately stepped forward and loudly declared that Theo was his friend, instantly changing the atmosphere. Theo's eyes filled with tears of joy as he called out to Sejun. Sejun picked him up and asked in surprise how he had managed to find him. Theo pulled out a special compass and explained that it had been a gift from Kaiser, which he used to track him down. He also revealed that Kong and Iona had traveled with him, but they were separated after a massive gorilla attacked them. Hearing this, one of the monkeys scratched his head and explained that the culprit was most likely Goran, the leader of the gorilla tribe. Feeling sorry for what Theo had gone through, Sejun began thinking about how to find the rest of his companions. Turning toward the monkeys, he asked for their help in locating two missing friends, a black bull and a red bear. The monkeys enthusiastically agreed and immediately scattered in every direction to search for them. Meanwhile, Theo looked at Sejun in astonishment and asked how he had become the god of the monkeys. Sejun simply laughed and replied that he had his own ways. At that moment, a system notification appeared before him, informing him that the monkeys who had illegally occupied the farm had been peacefully removed, and that he had officially become the rightful owner of the land. He also received updated information about his agricultural property. As he reviewed the details, Sejun was shocked to discover that the enormous area stretching before him was entirely his banana farm. Staring at the giant banana trees, he decided to restore them to health. The moment he touched one of the trees, another notification appeared. It explained that the tree was suffering from a severe illness and lacked the energy necessary for growth. Immediately afterward, a class quest appeared, requiring him to provide energy to the banana trees and cure their disease. Success would reward him with a new skill, while failure would result in the death of the trees. Sejun was puzzled and wondered how he was supposed to complete such a task. Theo confidently stepped forward and claimed that transferring energy was his specialty. He approached a tree and slapped it with his golden paw while telling it to stay strong. Unfortunately, the result was the complete opposite of what he expected. A notification appeared stating that the tree had taken minor damage and had become even weaker. Sejun immediately shouted at Theo, while Theo awkwardly defended himself, claiming that the same method always worked on Chairman Park. At that moment, Bat floated over and suggested using music instead. He and the other bats began flying around the tree while singing gentle songs, encouraging it to remain healthy, grow stronger, and produce delicious bananas. Theo laughed at the idea and dismissed it as useless, but his expression froze when the system announced that the tree had actually gained a small amount of energy from the soothing sounds. Sejun was delighted and praised Bat, who continued singing with even greater enthusiasm. Soon, one of the monkeys began dancing happily to the music. Seeing everyone doing their best, Sejun decided it was finally his turn. A brilliant golden light erupted from his body as he stretched out both hands and activated his growth acceleration skill. The instant the skill was released, waves of golden energy spread across the entire farm, passing through every giant banana tree, one after another. Within moments, all of the trees regained their vitality, becoming lush, green, and healthy once more. Several notifications appeared, confirming that the trees had recovered and that the class quest had been completed successfully. As a reward, Sejun obtained a new skill called Warm Farmer's Touch. After reading its description, he discovered that it allowed him to heal sick trees simply by touching them. Realizing how valuable the ability was, he immediately prepared to use it on the remaining trees. Meanwhile, far away in the tower control room, Eileen sat anxiously with tears in her eyes, worried about Sejun's safety. The great black dragon Kaiser gently tried to comfort her, assuring her that Sejun had become much stronger and that trustworthy allies from the 99th floor had already gone to search for him. However, his words failed to completely ease her concerns. After a moment of deep thought, Kaiser suggested granting Seijun a new authority remotely. Eileen was surprised by the proposal, but Kaiser explained that since Seijun possessed the Intermediate Manager Badge, he was eligible to receive additional authorities even while on a different floor. Without wasting any time, Eileen rushed to a massive library and pulled out an ancient book filled with special authorities and spells. She rapidly flipped through the pages until she found an authority capable of dramatically enhancing Seijun's body and magical power. A hopeful smile appeared on her face as she silently prayed for his safe return. Then, without hesitation, she began casting the spell. A gigantic blue magic gate suddenly appeared, and streams of radiant energy burst forth from it. The glowing power traveled throughout the tower, crossing countless floors as it raced toward Seijun. Back at the banana farm, something incredible happened. The sick banana trees suddenly began blooming again, as if life itself had returned to them in an instant. The monkeys stared in disbelief before erupting into cheers and joyful dancing as they watched their beloved trees recover. Despite his success, Seijun was completely exhausted. He bent forward, gasping for breath as sweat poured down his face. Looking at the endless rows of trees, he thought to himself, "I've nearly exhausted all of my magical power just to save 10 trees. How long will it take to save the entire farm?" Bat flew overhead and encouraged him. "Master, don't give up. We're all with you." Theo also approached and hugged him tightly while tearfully telling him to stay strong. Seeing the unwavering support of his friends, Seijun smiled warmly. "Thank you, everyone. With all of you beside me, I feel like my energy is returning." Even one of the monkeys raised its hands and began cheering for him. Then something unexpected happened. Massive blue waves of magical energy appeared in the sky and poured directly into Sejun's body. His eyes widened as he felt overwhelming power rushing through his veins. It was the new authority that Eileen had sent. As the magic merged with him, system windows appeared one after another. The Intermediate Manager Badge had received a special enhancement from the Tower Administration. The new authority greatly increased magical power, accelerated mana recovery, and significantly amplified the effectiveness of elemental abilities and magical skills. When the fusion was complete, Sejun's eyes glowed with a brilliant blue light. Looking toward the sky, he felt stronger than ever before. "This feels amazing," he shouted. "I feel like I can use my skills all day long." He placed a hand on a banana tree, releasing a powerful golden glow accompanied by enormous waves of magical energy that spread throughout the farm. One of the young monkeys watched the scene in awe before approaching him and saying gratefully, "Thank you, chosen one of the prophecy." Sejun smiled gently. "You're welcome." But his happiness did not last long. A purple notification window suddenly appeared. The system announced that the cost of the newly granted authority was 100 million tower coins and that the amount had already been deducted from his seed bank account. The moment he read the notification, Seijun froze. "What?" Countless gold coins seemed to vanish before his eyes as if an entire fortune had been stolen in an instant. His smile disappeared immediately, replaced by utter horror while blue lightning flashed all around him. The story then shifted to another location. Deep within the gigantic Crimson Rocky Mountain lay an abandoned Magic Association stone mine. Inside the dark cavern, Iona and Vice Master Genoba carefully made their way forward. Examining the cave walls, Iona spoke thoughtfully. "This abandoned mine is overflowing with intersecting magical energy currents. I never expected a place like this." Then she asked, "Could the sacred stone really be here?" Genoba nodded as he continued walking. "That's what I believe. The Magic Association is convinced that the sacred stone lies somewhere deep underground." Iona raised her staff, illuminating the darkness with a warm yellow glow. The deeper they traveled, the colder and darker the cave became. "If we find the sacred stone," she said, "it should naturally be handed over to the Magic Association." Then she suddenly paused. A different thought entered her mind. What if Seijun obtained the sacred stone instead? How would he use such power? Embarrassed by her own thoughts, she quickly shook her head and continued walking. Soon she noticed something strange. Although the outside temperature was scorching, the cave felt unnaturally cold. Turning around, she called out, Vice Master Genoba, are you all right? No answer came. She called again, this time louder. Vice Master Genoba? Silence. Then everything changed. A crimson-red flash suddenly erupted behind her. Genoba's expression transformed completely. A cold and terrifying smile appeared on his face. Looking directly at Iona, he spoke in a low, dangerous voice. I'm sorry about this, Lady Iona. The next moment, a massive explosion erupted. Fire and destruction swept through the cavern. Genoba emerged from the flames with steady steps, his eyes glowing with terrifying red and yellow light. His body trembled with excitement and suppressed rage. Raising his head, he declared proudly, From this moment onward, I, Genoba, am the new master of the Gravity Magic Tower. Then he burst into sinister laughter that echoed throughout the dark cavern, signaling the beginning of a disaster no one could have foreseen.